And I'm actually really kind of want to send some certain messages to Tiger Woods since he always kind of looks a little sad, and it is really tough when you lose a parent. So you don't stop grieving overnight. You don't stop grieving. But these are a lot of cards. So we'll start here. I actually have focused on his dad as well, and something about Machu Picchu in Peru came up. So I don't know if he wants to go there or always has wanted to go there. It also may be just the message that is on the bottom of the card, which also as well Tiger's father will like to send to him and saying that I am nourished in both body and mind. I can see my part in the wider universe. I reap what so Tiger's father is actually, you know, to me, I see him in a resting period in a lot of ways, but also very taken care of, but rebuilding, um, renourishing himself, and appreciating the life that he actually lived, and also letting Tiger Woods know, don't worry about me. I'm fine. I'm fine. And then he looks over Tiger Woods. He's built so much energy around Tiger Woods. Wow. This is almost even like as if they have sort of, I don't know if they've known each other from another lifetime. Like usually I kind of know, but I feel like the Earl Woods has built up a lot of energy for Tiger Woods, like even a little bit before this lifetime. So he kind of came in to do this, but there's a deep fondness and a deep respect, and highest love, for Tiger Woods by his father. So these cards, loneliness, adversity, I didn't even expect to use these cards. I expected to use tarot cards really, but this is fine for now. So the first card obviously that came out is loneliness. And what his father would say is, Tiger, this is nothing different than what you have always, the path you have always walked every single day of your life. This is what I told you. This is what we have done. Pull back from this, release it, let it go, surrender it. Because when you put it down, and there's the acceptance card there as well. So when you put it down, it's really not only it's going to reopen his heart center, affect his health in a really, really great way, and he can rebuild that energy. He says, Tiger, you've known how to build energy. You've always been very intuitive. You know how to build energy. I think they actually I don't think they were like overly spiritual, but I think they kind of maybe talked about spiraling thoughts, positive thoughts, that type of thing. And he kind of worked with energy a little bit, but I don't think they're like overly, like we're doing anything just other than it being more of just a general method. But he's saying that, when you've really let down all of this, you can let it go. Sorry, when you let down all of this judgment against yourself, all of this societal judgment, all of the personal adversity that you have had, your health is going to completely improve so much better. That's something that I've already known as well. And he's like, even though you think your back, I'll tell you what, he has problems with his back, right? One reason is because it's jealousy, it's energetic. And if you're not somebody who studies the cards or studies energetics, that might seem like a really weird statement, but a lot of times when people, everything is energy, everything is matter, and when you have people who are feeling a certain way about you, feeling levels of jealousy, everything is energy, and people can actually send that out if you're not clearing this stuff off of you. People send it out and it begins to add up. So, I mean, I would really say it's almost like, his dad is saying as well, acupuncture for one thing, energetic clearing for one. So, I would definitely recommend to Tiger Woods to definitely get a really good, solid Reiki practitioner, somebody who walks their talk, somebody who you can tell when they walk in a room that they've really got their stuff together, both in their professional and personal life, within great reason. So to be able to do that, to realign, he's got like some chakra misalignments and things like that. This is why some of this is going on in his back as well. Some of the problems that he has, as well. But he also internalized this too much. And his father is saying, like, if I were there, it wouldn't have been this way. But this is the path. You know that we always walk the path no matter what. It's like you know what to do. And you need to recommit to this, Tiger. You need to recommit to who you are. You know who you are, and you know you're better. You know you're better than all these people. You know you're better. I think he would like him to do a lot more past the normal communities that he works with. I would say that he wants his son to work a little bit more with Black people. Let me see something. That's what that seems like to me. So I don't know Tiger's personal life. I don't know whether or not, like, the degree of which he works with a lot of Black people, but he would like him to do that. He said, you put in enough time and you put in enough, and sometimes the things that you do, they haven't been right no matter what you do, and it's about time you really help. um yeah, he wants him to reconnect. There's this thing with his ex-wife as well. um Let me just see something here. What do you want to say, Mr. Woods? What would you like to say, Mr. Woods? What would you like to say, Mr. Woods? Okay. A lot of the health problems that he has had is over, this situation in his personal life with his marriage. And his father's just saying, at this point, begin to really withdraw from that and not crucify yourself every single day on some level. You can do this. He's also saying you could win again. You could win multiple times again, but you have to get rid of this big energetic burden that you have, and it has to do with the personal life and the marriage. So let's just see. I think that he's even saying, like, your wife has, or your ex-wife, she has even kind of she is even kind of like, You know what he's really saying? Wow, this is kind of messed up. He's almost saying like with her, and not that she's like a negative, nasty person. I don't think, but I think he's looking at this from an esoteric level, and he's saying to Tiger, like, you're taking responsibility for every single thing. Um, it feels like he's saying that your wife wasn't um affectionate enough, open enough. Um, it's not that she's a bad person or anything like that, but this is kind of her personality. Like, there was a big disconnect. Um, Whereas his attitude was a lot more, but I think what his father's saying is that, she is, this is just who she is. This is who she would have been with anybody, like there's this disconnect, there's this distance there. And it doesn't look like she means anything by it. It's just like, it's kind of just how she's been raised. And he really wants, Tiger to really complete this cycle. So he's saying that he's not saying that what you did was right or anything like that, but he's also saying like, don't release yourself from 100% responsibility in this situation, because you also know as well that there were areas that she kind of wasn't able to show up in for you emotionally within a marriage. And I don't know this woman, like, I don't know her, so I'm not trying to dog her. I'm just reading the cards, that's all. So, yeah, I just really feel like she's even more than stoic, like really, I don't know why something says displaced. That's kind of weird. But yeah, and even the relationship like she's in right now, there's interaction there, and she may be a little more interactive with her husband than maybe she was with her first husband. Or I don't know if she's married now. Is she? I remember seeing something last year that she had a baby, or the year before that, with like some football player or something, I think. But I think he might be younger than her, and I don't want to get too deep in their business, but the whole purpose of this is just to say that she's just like this. And so this marriage always, especially coming out over this card, this marriage always felt kind of lonely in a way, because I mean, he was there emotionally, even though it seems like to a certain extent Tiger Woods could be a little bit reserved in a way too, but he was much more there emotionally, and she was not fully there emotionally. Yeah. And so I think that they both still think about this. I think that she still, I feel like because of the relationship she is in with this other person who seems to be much younger than her. I don't know if he like drinks or something. I don't want to get too into people's personal business here. So, you know, I think he's younger than her, and I feel like because he's younger or something, he doesn't show up in the same way that her marriage was with Tiger Woods, as a man, as someone being concerned, um, those type of things. And so it's caused her to reflect and to say, to really see her own self. It's almost like she sees herself as kinda like a hologram, like, "Oh, wow, I wasn't even kinda, like, there," and it's still, like, even though she's reflecting on the marriage and reflecting on him, because he's completely different kind of from the guy that she's with now. But which I think she's probably going to end up leaving him at some point if she hasn't already. She's already kind of, in my opinion. Um yeah, I mean, I really feel like, there's just this stagnancy there. Um and maybe certain levels of depression there as well. But I feel like, again, like Tiger Woods' father is coming and saying, like, this is something that is her energy. She would have attracted someone, she would not connect with someone, and he's not dogging her, anything like that. I'm trying not to as well, just trying to keep that message clear. So if Tiger Woods ever watched this video, he would get it, because we're just trying to release him from the pattern holds, because yeah, I mean, he's been stuck on this for a really long time, and it's seriously stunted his growth. He's stuck on this. I mean, yeah, I mean, look at this. This is horrifying. And I mean, you could kind of tell this anyway through you could tell. Um Tiger Woods expected to be a really good husband. I think with so much going on, so much, as I say, fire and music, a lot of stuff, emotions up and down. His father becoming sick, I believe, um, throughout that marriage, and him not necessarily knowing how to process all of that and having to be a certain way. He just feels like a failure, and I think that, what his father says is like, you are always a winner. You are a master of light. Tiger Woods, you were before you incarnated as Tiger Woods. I'm almost kind of choked up here. And you will always be just the way this mountain is, or whatever Machu Picchu is. He's asking you to remember that, how that mountain stands so proud and tall and at a point, almost a very, very, very steep point. You need to remember that you are immovable, you are elevated, you are miles and miles above, and you are a spiritual and sensitive being. His dad is saying, and yeah, and his father would say, I've loved you um for before your lifetime. Like, this is it's so beautiful. Oh my God, I just almost want to cry about it. Even when you guys who have watched my videos, I normally don't cry, but I have cried in about, I don't know, maybe 2 out of the 50 videos, like really cried. Um, in the one that I did for Prince Charles, for whatever reason, oh my goodness, I really could not stop crying. So, Earl Woods wants his son to know, you are the sun, you are the great mountain. It's almost like a very Japanese kind of, I don't know. Anyway, so you need to let this really go. Like, you really need to let this go. So let's go a little deeper into that. And, just accept the fact that this marriage, it didn't take the course that you may have wanted it to, or you weren't able to process everything. And I think that's how Tiger looks at it. Like, I wasn't able to necessarily process. I thought I could handle this. I thought I could handle all of the pressure, plus all of the endorsements, all of the obligations, all of the travel, and plus be an amazing husband or have a family. Because I think he really takes this so much to heart, and I think he still does. And his father is saying, like, let's see what his father is saying a little bit more before I put my own words into it. The Six of Wands here. But before I go into that, that's a victory card, by the way. Tiger Woods is giving entirely too much energy to defeat in his marriage. And I think that, I remember the press with all the men, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm definitely not saying it was right, but I mean, but with all the men who do same, I mean, it was like Tiger Woods just, was so demonized, and it just really feels like those type of things are reserved for certain people and not for others. That type of really scathing, ongoing and slaughter of criticism. But in any case, he also wants Tiger Woods to know that, hey, you know what? His wife is Elin, or his ex-wife. I keep saying wife. His ex-wife is Elin. And he's saying, look, she really respects you. And I'm here to say, Tiger, if you're watching this, she does. And it's full circle because the person that she's with, and I hate to do this, but it's showing up. I don't dig for people's business, but I only allow the cards to. I know I'm like in your business, so, but I don't dig for extra stuff that doesn't show up. I just dig for the general energies, which is what people would be willing to tell other people anyway, so they make it energetically available so it comes out in the cards. But I'm not going to go and really focus on her and him and then really go and this and that and a third. So there is this unwillingness in her, and I think that, first of all, this relationship that she has with this other guy, um I think it seems to me that he might have a little bit of a temper. She is definitely used to the standard that you set, so you shouldn't be feeling like you lost, because this is really part of her process. Like, even if you hadn't married her and someone else had married her, it probably would have taken the same course, literally, because of her, how she shows up in her own life, how she relates in a relationship, and how, just the way each and every one of us do, you know. If you're shut down in one area, it doesn't matter who it is, really, you're shut down for every single person. This is why people end up having the patterns, Tiger. So this is what your father is saying, like, it's really too much your pressure you're putting on yourself as far as a failure is concerned. It's too much. You're like, I don't think at times you don't get sleep at night, and it's okay to feel like it wasn't the right thing that you did, but it's not okay to take 100% responsibility in a marriage of two people for that. It is good to take responsibility for your actions, sure, but not to crucify yourself to death, because apparently there was something here that, she had a hand in this too. And I don't want to talk down about her or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, everybody has a place, and to a certain extent. I'm not saying she's responsible for your choices, but I'm just saying, like, you get what I'm saying. So even now, it's still hard for her to deal with levels of intimacy in a relationship. It just has to do with how she is, but the actual difference between you and this other person that she's dealing with, is has caused her to really see how much more you showed up in your marriage, and therefore, this is what your father wants you to know. I think your father's getting a little tired now. Um, I will ask him to please, let me just assign an angel to take all information from him that he wants to relate to you, because I take a while to read. So, Mr. Woods, if you would please transfer whatever and everything you want to say to your son to the angel kindly, and then I will keep reading for Tiger until it's complete. So let's see. Any more direct messages, channel messages from Mr. Woods. Woods. All right, so I would say a little bit of a friendly jab in the ribs. Dad is saying like, listen, you know how to play with two hands tied behind your back and a blindfold. Like, I don't want to hear you really using your back as an excuse. You know how to play around something like that, and if you clear your mind of all this other, you know how to balance things out. He talks about balancing and scales. He is saying that, you know, you will win again, and it's time for you to come full circle, and that you can play for a really long time, but you just have to psychologically listen. Your father's like, you are the, I'm gonna say king, but this is the emperor card, and the emperor is the king of kings, but I'm just gonna say the king. You are the king of this. You better recognize you need to do. You have an unlimited. Ooh, he's talking. He's like, you have an unlimited supply of energy, wisdom, knowledge. This is where we come from. This is how we do. And you know what, your family loves you, and you know, your children, they really love you. They really respect you, and they're going to they don't they I don't feel like your children are expressive, maybe, but God, they love you so much. And I mean, I just feel like he's like, you're such a caring and kind and sensitive father, and also fun loving. Like, they just have so much respect for you, Tiger Woods. So I don't think you need to feel this level of shame. You can put that cross down, you know. Who does Meghan Markle say? My other person that I do so many readings for. Meghan Markle says, you have to thrive, not survive. And that's what you've been doing. You've been surviving. And I'm not sure that you fully know that, because I feel like you've internalized this and you're functioning kind of on an unconscious level, but it deeply affected your game. And you will see very similar thing happen to Novak Djokovic when he had uh, a little bit of some marital issues in his personal life, um, as well. And I think he took some time off. He was also injured. I kind of can't remember the whole deal, but I do distinctly remember him coming back and not being able to play the way he did play. And it just really took some time for him to get back into the groove, but it did involve, well, I won't speak for him, but I'm just saying, you know, it took some time. So, I mean, these things can psychologically set in and root in, and he wants you to, I would say, Tiger, he wants you to root out of that. I also feel like you live in a harsh world. I feel like a lot of the people around you, they're feeders, they're fake, and it's really a lonely life. It's a lonely life. I feel like he's like, look, you know what? This is what you signed up for, because you're well a cut. He's saying a cut above, but he means like you are really, really, really way, way, way above, not a cut above. And it's like, you already know this. I think there's also this sense of guilt because you didn't connect with people too much, and it's not hard to understand why when you come into golf and someone's like, "Where's the chicken and watermelon?" You know, like, and if that was just one person, imagine what the temperature was overall. But it's almost like your father's saying, "You were right." Um, because not everybody deserves your energy. It's not that you need to be nasty or disconnected and stuff like that, but it's okay to be alone. It's okay not to mesh in with these people necessarily, because you are of a different caliber. He wants you to reach higher, um and be more intuitive and connect with him more. Connect with him more. And I would say to Tiger Woods, honestly, to assist your father. Let me see what he wants first before. What would you like your son to do? Yeah, definitely putting out some fruit. I know that may sound crazy to some people, but this is like an offering. Um, and again, everything is energy. And when a person passes over and they go into essence, they still have the soul and the consciousness, but they need the energy. So to even put fruit out, put the favorite fruit out, and really just it does help a lot more. And I think you already do some kind of ode, or maybe you have some personal space dedicated to your father, and he sees that as well. You are such a good son. You are so dutiful. Like, there's just something, you know. But you're my beautiful child. But I think he's also saying here as well, like, you need, like, your chakras are, they're like misaligned because the trauma that you've gone through the death, the trauma with the publicity stuff, and just feeling alone, and anyone who has lost a parent knows how, I mean, that just throws you all, it rips out, could rip out your whole heart. Like, you lose something, and it's just really off. It's an awful process. It's not even a process. It's just a real rude awakening that really takes a toll on the body, and there are all these elements as well. So I just feel like he's saying to reach out for him and let him assist you in finding a community that you really can, group of people you really can trust and be friends with, and people who are on your level. They are out there, by the way. There are not many of them, but they are out there. Well, let's see what else is going on here. I think this is really all of what he's trying to say, pretty much. Yeah, I just really feel like he's saying, just, it's okay for you not to feel like you have to deal with some of the younger generation, and also to kind of watch your back just a tad bit too, because there are quite a few people who are just two-faced, and it feels like it's these kind of group of younger golf guys or something, like something in there, like, this person also with their snakes and stuff like that, but they're definitely younger. So not everybody needs to get your essence, energy, and time. And also, don't be unfettered if anybody's like, "Oh, you're standoffish." You know, it's just like, it's not that I'm standoffish. It's just that I'm just processing a lot in my mind. Hope you don't mind all of this stuff. There really is something here with your chakras that are off, and I kind of wanted to spiel. When you lose a parent, like, the emotional drain on that, like, it does take a toll on the heart, on the being. It does take away from the personal power as well. So you really need to get with a really good Reiki practitioner of integrity, and let them realign your power centers, your chakras, which, run through your body from the crown of your head down, basically to the end of your spine, where your spine begins to meet your legs, um, so to speak. There's a little bit more in between there, but you know what I mean. So that needs to happen. But definite stardom, like, you can do this, Tiger. He's saying, like, he sees it, he knows it, and you know your father would never say this if it weren't true. You can get back out there, and if you just unload a lot of this personal stress and the personal self-condemnation, you will be winning again a lot. A lot. In fact, there are 6 to 7 more titles just with you making these small things, and then after that, everything is excuse me, if you choose to focus even more on that, everything is a limit. So let me just see about your children as well. So look, this thing about your back, like, you need an energetic, he keeps talking about these like swords and things in your back. It has come up more than once. It's jealousy, and I tell you, people send that usually most times when people have to be cleared of negative energy that other people send through their thought forms. It's usually out of back. So getting acupuncture as well. If you personally know me, you know also your old best friend, Roger Federer, also had a lot of back problems as well. But I think I want to say for him, it's different because he's a one-handed tennis player. And so constantly opening up the body like that, you know in any case, it's different for you because this is more energetic for you. Even though you have, I think it's 2 discs in your back or something like that. I don't really know the details of the surgery or anything like that, but it does have to do with some discs and stuff like that. But acupuncture will help, and also Reiki and realignment of your energy centers, which are your chakras. So those things need to be done. Your father brings great attention to those things. So he's saying, like, look, you can win. You've got this. You've got this. Like, it's not that you're getting older. It's not that you can't do the things that you um, wanted to do before. He's also saying, like, your personal, how can I say this? Human desire, right? Natural human desire. It's natural. And the last thing you need to be doing is condemning yourself if you have high human desire um, in your personal life, if you get what I'm saying. So he's saying you spend too much time condemning yourself over that. Whereas, really, I think sometimes let's say sexual energy is not just for sex. So once you understand that sacral chakra, where that's the sex center, it is a place of personal power. It's the creativity, it's the fire, it's the passion, and not sexual passion, but creation. It's a creative core. And so this is why it may be of interest to you to check out Kundalini yoga, because that sexual energy you can actually bring up through the body. It's not always for sexual pleasure. It's used not only to heal other parts of the body, but also to manifest, to really strike out on what your intention is. And I would really encourage you to look at that as well. But he's saying your self-talk over your sexual drive. Don't be ashamed of the drive. It's not that you're supposed to be sleeping with everybody 10 hours a day every day or anything like that. It's that that sexual energy is it's almost the portal for your creative power and force. And so it just has to be channeled in the right way. That's why you kind of have a lot of it. And I apologize if this seems very personal, but it's a really important point to bring to you. So if you've been wondering, like, what is with me? What is wrong? You know, creating shame around that is one of the most low vibrational things. It's almost like violence in the body, which is why this violence in the body has manifested as back pain, aches, knee aches, hip problems, all of this stuff. Um, and looks like sometimes some of your thoughts are even kind of clouded in a way, and that you may not sleep well, you may have nightmares or something like that. But I would look into Kundalini energy, or just building up and using this energy. You were meant to draw from a strong amount of force, amount of energy, and this is why this goes on at the force that it does. It's not for the purpose of sex. Um, um, High volume sex. It's the purpose of um, channeling that up through the body, grounding it down, as well, grounding it through Earth's core. And I don't want to get too airy, fairy, weird for you, but it would be worth it for you to look kind of into Kundalini energy and to begin to look at how yogis, the males who practice yoga, actually channel this energy up through the body, so they can preserve and they can increase their power and their creativity and their force. So this is all really meant for you to excel on the golf course, and this is why you have such a surge, so many surges of it. So there's nothing wrong with you, he's saying. Um, I would definitely look into yoga for sure. Not only is it going to help with your back and your hips, I think you have issues with hips as well. Um, it's going to assist you with the channeling of sexual energy, energy from the sexual center. So it's sacred sexual energy, sacred, yeah. Anyway, so that's basically what yoga was created for in the first place, for men, young men, or men of men dealing with a whole bunch of sexual energy. And so these poses, the way that you channel up the power of this sexual force and you utilize it in your body, mind, and energetic field, it creates more power as opposed to what could be disempowerment, which is just kind of allowing this imbalance of sexual indulgence. And there's nothing wrong with sexual action, but overindulgence, which is you don't want to do. You don't want to do. It doesn't seem like you're doing that. Not that I'm looking into you, but I'm just seeing like you show up like this. It's not like you're showing up like the Knight of Wands or anything like that. So you're pretty reserved and very honorable. But your father sees you um, as this, as being able to get more victory. So he's saying channel your energy. Keep saying get your chakras aligned, get your energetic centers aligned. And I would say particularly your heart center when you do suffer the death of someone and great disappointment to a certain extent, some of your heart chakra or your heart center actually tends to suffer a bit. And if one energy center is off, then all of them are kind of offset. So he definitely wants you to come back. And I mean, with this Eight of Wands here, he's saying hit those balls, like, I mean, golf balls, hit those golf balls, hit and, hit far and wide, but get the energy clearing, release. All right, let me start that over again. So what he's saying is, let me just get this organized here. So what he's saying is reach out to him, connect with him much more. There are definite championships. Let's say there are definite wins in your future if you keep it up, but you have to clear your psyche. You have to put down the cross of what happened in the past, and any shame. And you should know that some of that shaming that would happen to you is certain bias as well. I'm just adding that because I just know, like, men don't get judged as harshly as you were. And I'm not saying that it was right. And I'm not saying I really don't advocate for um, those type of things. You may want to spend more time alone. Let me see what's going on here. What do you mean, sir? What about his current relationship are you saying to? Yeah, I mean, the list card, it's in reverse. And so he's saying, like, you're doing well, but I feel like you could be enjoying life better. I feel like you could be in a relationship that's a little more fulfilling. Jesus. I mean, I just feel like, you've taken on this life that is not that fulfilling, in order to sort of appease people in a way. That word will probably trigger you, which is probably really good because not here to appease people, but um, just to put on this nicey nice person or whatever. And he's saying, please live your life. Do not let these people um, try to make it seem like you're the most horrible person in the world and carrying on, and now you must walk around like some kind of quiet martyr. He is talking about these wins again, and to get yourself straight, get yourself sorted, get back out there. You know what I taught you. Do it for me, do it because this is who we are. This is who we are. And again, with this Eight of Wands, which is this card is being called the swiftness, but if you could see it as well, like how many it's a bunch of rods flying through the air. It's almost like he's like, get out there and swing, like take care of yourself, take care of your back, get rid of the emotional aspect, get the acupuncture in your back, get the Reiki, um do things like hot yoga so that your joints are warmed up. I'm also seeing like a hot tub as well that he gave me there. And I think it's about time that, like, I feel like I really feel like your ex-wife is kind of looking at what she feels. Yeah, I really do feel like she is very closed off in a way. I think I think sometimes she might have been closed off in a way because as well she's very intimidated by the megastar that you were and are still, but I mean were at the time with her. Um and how could she kind of compete and almost like being afraid. I could kind of see a woman feeling that way. But I do feel like she has had a contrast in her new relationship, and I do feel like she kind of looks back and sees, actually, you guys, how much of a family, a lot much more of a family you guys were than she knew at the time. And also she's like, you were young, she is young as well, so now you're both older and you both can look back on this and go, hey, I didn't even realize actually that was a good arrangement. I don't mean arrangement, but just use the word for some reason. So I do think that she is going to eventually I think she's going to come forth and say something to you, and that should be allowing you to have a release and be able to put this situation to rest as well. She may come like in a form of wanting to reestablish a business with you. Let me see what's going on here. I mean, hey, she may even want to restart. I'm not gonna lie, Tiger Woods. I'm not gonna lie. It feels to me like if your ex-wife could have it the way she wanted it, she would go back and remarry with you because she just didn't know then what she had. But at the same time, there's like this stuck aspect of her as well. And so I feel like you're being propelled to move forward into something that's much more fulfilling. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I just feel like your father's like, just really find someone amazing. Here's another victory card. All of this. When this is, I've read for Roger Federer an Ace of Cups, Ten of Cups. Those type of things have always represented victories as well. So, I mean, three victory cards in a row. Literally, these two are literally victory. And this is hard won victory. It's about time for you to take your rightful place and not be a person in the shadow who's living kind of as the shame sort of person. There's nothing for you to be ashamed of. You're really respected, and I don't think that you see that. And it's like your father knows why you take that so hard and you kind of punish and discipline yourself because you have always been about discipline, but this is really a little bit much. He really wants you to make a concerted effort, just the way you commit to, what did I just hear you saying? The obvious is that when you decide where you are going to do your golf swing and give the ball a directive, you commit fully to that. Well, you need to commit fully to releasing this and putting this burden down, because nobody on this earth is perfect, including the people who have judged you so unfairly and so harshly, as well. They just wanted to fade you in a lot of ways. I mean, for God's sake, we have a president who sleeps with hookers and pays them off and strippers. And I mean, I definitely I don't condone extramarital affairs and all this and infidelity and stuff like that. But I also don't get in the middle of people's relationships if I'm a little in the middle of it in this reading. Sorry. But they're just reasons, and there are two people in the relationship, and this is definitely showing that your ex-wife is recognizing like the distance, the disconnect that she had as well. And I don't think that she'll be able, I think that she's beginning to reawaken to this. But I do think how she will do this is she will begin to want to start. um I think she's going to come out to more social events with you guys as the family. And I think that she may, some old businesses that you guys had, I think she may try to restart some businesses with you. And then eventually, like in the back of her mind, like a path to rekindling marriage. But I really think, what does your father say about this? I don't think if she learns how to get past that loner thing that she's got going on. And this is something that even though she's awakening to it, she's not fully able to realize it. And then there's something that's like codependent between the two of you because of it. I don't know what. I don't want to drill down into your business. I feel like you'll know. So he doesn't see that necessarily as a healthy cycle. Could this be like, what if they got like counseling or something like that? Every single thing is swords here. Every single thing. I think she's really disappointed in her current relationship. And you are exhausted. And I think it just feels like a missed opportunity for the both of you. But I think that, being friends and parenting together, as obviously you guys have been, will be the way to continue on with the friendship. But I feel like your father is also saying to just release everything that's not serving you, like relationships, no matter what they are, like if they're not serving you to the highest capacity, and cause you to play so small, and they bring you misery instead of vitality, then it's really time for you to move on. Let's see. This seems like your current relationship, new girlfriend or newer girlfriend. Let's just give that a fair chance and see what that's about. And then the other card, by the way, the other location card that came up for you is the Avebury Standing Stone. So this is like the UK. I'm sure. See. But the message here is, I seek knowledge and receive greater knowledge when I am ready. Greater power means greater responsibility. It is a natural part of life to exclude and include discernment if necessary. So this really talks about you having discernment in your relationships, not having to settle for how the public wants you to be. Someone wrote the other day, Tiger Woods is now humbled, like in a good way. I mean it like in a bad way, but I kind of tend to agree with Kanye on this one. It's like, why do people have to sit around being humble? Like we're here to be our best, and we didn't incarnate or come to this earth to be humble. And I mean humble in a way where other people feel comfortable. Other people feel comfortable that you are in your little box and not living to your highest and best, that you are in mediocrity. And that's where you are right now, Tiger Woods. I really admire you, so I can give you a little bit of this jab. Like, you're living in mediocrity. Your relationships are not necessarily fulfilling your heart center, giving you the best. In fact, it really feels like you're on your own. Like, what's with Father wants you to find somebody who really makes you happy. You don't need to date a specific type of woman either. Like, just date who you want to date. And I also feel like you're on a pathway. Like, if you continue this way, because hold on one second. Let's see what else. I don't know why I have to use these small cards. Yeah, I just feel like family life, like, it's not even, I don't know if your partner, she's like overactive, or um I don't know, maybe too chatty, maybe a little bit too much of something, a little bit too much for you. in some form or fashion. I don't want to dig deep, so I'm just kind of like throwing out general possibilities here. Know what's weird? I feel like one of the only people you trust is this young lady who interviews you for golf. I feel like this is her. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just really feel like you have I don't know if like, your new girlfriend or whatever, or your latest girlfriend or your current, she's like taking over the house or something, or and you just kind of, I feel like you don't spend necessarily a lot of time. Mm. I just really think without digging into this, your father wants so much better for you. And the last thing he wants you to do is to walk around in any shame or living your life on decisions based on what other people think you did or they feel is shameful when the same thing and worse is going on under their roofs. You just don't know about it. Um, it's time for you to release that burden, and you're not meant to live a life of being single in your mind and isolated and lonely at the top type of thing. You are meant to be friends with other like minds. um, I think you were also, let's see, there is some part of you that is really getting tired of this disconnect from society, the disconnect within your circle in golf. Like there's still, you still feel like a foreigner in this community. Although, I mean, I think your son brings you such great joy. Um, I don't know if this is one of his friends, but I feel like this is like another young person. Just I would just watch a little bit. Either I'm not sure. This might be actually one of his little friends, or I just feel like this is just a younger. This is a younger colleague of yours as well, and just watch your back and begin to pray and look for to. I'm sorry. Begin to look for people who are giving you a good meeting of the mind and fulfill your life. You do not have to live like this kind of, I don't want to say martyr, but it feels like it's not like you feel sorry for yourself, but you don't have to live um like you have the scarlet letter or something like that, because there is a bit of that energy there. Your father wants you to enjoy, be out in community. He wants you to get to these wins, like let all this stuff go. With all due respect, I think the current relationship you're in, I don't really think that that's something, but I do see another person here that you may meet. A really lovely woman, kind, also very healing as well. Yeah, this is something new. You actually may have met this person already. This person who's coming in, this new woman who's coming in, Hold on one second. When she does come in, she's going to be so very healing and giving and nurturing. And let's see, like, can she meet the minds? She's wildly intuitive, this woman. She may be kind of like me, like a card reader, or an energy reader. So she definitely, you are going to win, Tiger Woods. You are going to win. Like, these cards keep coming up. You are going to win. 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 I know I had to say that so many times. You're going to be winning. And this is also the Three of Cups. If you can see, this is like three people celebrating with cups in the air. They're enjoying, this is also, there's so much victory here. It's coming. It's actually coming. So I think really cut off all the women that you've known in the past. It's safe to kind of begin to move away from that. I think keeping a nice friendship with your wife, your advice through these cards, even though you didn't even ask for this reading, or maybe you energetically did, that's why it's happening. But I just really feel like your father's like, move away from all of these women. This new woman who comes in, she's also very nice. She's very intuitive, extremely intuitive, so she'll be able to help. I feel like with her, this may be something that is nice for um a time. Let's see, like, what's the deal with that? Yeah, I think maybe now you're even ending the connection with the current girlfriend, or that's going to happen one way or another, where it gets phased out by the universe, because there's only so little mediocrity, let's say. And I don't mean any disrespect toward her or anything like that, but it just, for the for you, like, this relationship, it doesn't seem to be having fertile ground, like anything kind of growing out of it. And frankly, it feels like, you don't want to connect, and that you are understimulated for sure. So that's what's going on. um I do want to give you one advice card. There were a few things, actually. Wait, I don't know why this reading has to be so long. What are we looking at? Well over an hour. Goodness, or 9 minutes over an hour. There are definitely a lot of wins here if you follow just what your father said in his reading, Tiger. Okay, let's see. So I was guided to pull out the Sacred Destiny cards. And what kind of golf information would he give you, Mr. Woods? Okay. Really simple stuff here, like just to have fun with it. You're not having as much fun. There may be something as well here. Remember, hold on one second. Yeah, remember the Hawaii trip or something like that? You get mountains all the time, Tiger. Your father just shows mountains, like you are well above the rest. Please function as you in your true self. Okay, because I feel like you're turning away with this opportunity card, and I usually don't have these cards in reverse. You're turning away a lot, and you're turning away from your truth because you are not forgiving yourself. He's like, you are totally undervaluing yourself. And, again, this card is potential. This card is purification. Listen, you outshine the best. This is how he sees you, my perfect, beautiful, shining boy. I love you so much. It's beautiful. You're magical. There's another card that's been up. Like your flow is off. Just the obvious stuff that you really do know. But I think he's saying something about, there's something out in Hawaii somewhere. And even though you are outside on a golf course, I'm not sure that you really take time for yourself out in these lands. So maybe just as it is in this picture here, finding this waterfall, and it just seems to me like, Hawaii. I also hear Japan. And you're just a really honest player, and he doesn't want you to be so honest to your detriment where you are condemning yourself. Like, it's time for you to resurrect. You've done your time. You've spent, probably a good 10 years in the prison, let's say. And it's time for you to move out because there are plenty of wins ahead of you, and your back and your body are going to be much better when you are in your truth of who you are. Again, your father sees you as as a mountain, insurmountable, well ahead of others, and well built over time, immovable, unscalable, unbeatable, untoppable. So you need to function in those truths. And let's get one very final card. Perfectionism. So let me just read this, and then positivity is also here. Whoop. If you knew my process, you'd know why I'm picking these cards. There's sanctuary, there's self-love, and I don't want to have us here. There's self-acceptance. There's something here about you not having accepted yourself. And this is a problem. So I want to say to you, you can accept exactly who you are in this world with the limitations that other people have by drawing on your ancestors and seeing the wins that your ancestors have had in this world, and moving past the distortions of that. I think for you, it's hard for you to connect to a legacy and to things that seem like it's not a win. So there's this struggle between you as well that's pulling on you that I think a universe is going to, if that doesn't get confronted with the self-acceptance over the next 1.5 to 2 years, they're going to come in strong with some kind of lesson. And believe me, it's called the spiritual beatdown, and you do not want it. You want to start being proud of the truth of who you are. I'm not saying that you're not a proud person, but it's okay. And when you look at the legacy, your father, the things that even he went through in his time, and what he was able to do, and how he was able to, in one generation, with his own personal ingenuity, be able to change a legacy for you and your children and your descendants in one generation. And this was your father's work. So you need to trust the strength of that, of who he is, and be able to celebrate that, who he is, where he comes from, as well as victory, because it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. And a lot of people have been able to accelerate past a lot of adversity, which is a lot of the reason why you actually incarnated as a person who is Black. You are Thai, of course. You're Blasian, Black and Asian. And so it's funny, this dynamic, because it's like you get treated like a black person, and you need to, I don't want to say what you need to do, but celebrating and understanding and working through adversity is what you do, Tiger Woods. So for you to be able to recognize the levels of adversity by Black people in this country, to have gone from slave to president after 60 years of being allowed to vote, allowed, doesn't happen without the same type of grit that you have to hit a ball out of a sand trap, and I really shouldn't compare the Black struggle to hitting a ball out of a sand trap, but I mean, this is what you do. You work through adversity. So, you know, people may turn the legacy of a people into a loss, but actually it's a huge win. Um, it just depends on the way you look at it. So you have self-acceptance cards, self-love cards here. But the first card was perfectionism. And if you're talking about winning and you're talking about achievement, that is what these very people have done and accelerated themselves within 150 years, have gone from slave to president, which is amazing given that for about um, 80 years, or let's say, hold on one second. Yeah, let's just say 80 roughly, about roughly 80 years. All laws were against voting for these people, were against, ownership of land, really. I mean, getting a job, being educated, those things weren't allowed, for the most part. And then when they sort of were, people were intimidated for several decades, obviously. But Black people were able to persist. So, I mean, this is like real talk here. Accepting that and really understanding the strength of it is the lesson here, because it will be something that it is something that's pulling on you now, tugging on you and your health. And this is like real deal stuff. So this is how you turn this into what it has been, as the people who have persisted um, under great adversity, which is, I mean, it's what you do. It's a win. It's a win to go from slavery to president when other people have had every single handout from the beginning of time in this country, and still can be working at Walmart as a manager in 2021, where there's no discrimination against them. So, I mean, that's not hating, but just to bring a point to all of this. So I'm going to read these cards. Self-acceptance. Nothing is more exhausting than endlessly working on yourself. When you offer your whole being fully to love, self-acceptance arises spontaneously. May I rest in our oneness, dear divine. So this is oneness. She means your God-given birthright to be accepted as who you are, and the miracle of who you are, and not social distortions, placing value and lack of value on certain people and not others. So self-love, show me how to love myself, show me how to take care of the inner child, show me how to be kind within. And that's also another thing with you being kind within. when you step into self-forgiveness, so much can change on the outside. So it's really good. Then we go to sanctuary, which actually came after perfectionism. These were the first two cards, actually. I was just guided to put them this way, but this was perfectionism was first, sanctuary, as I remember, was second, and relationship, positivity were third and fourth. So perfectionism, or actually I'm going to read sanctuary. A sanctuary resides inside you no matter what is happening. This inner temple beckons you to enter. Take a deep breath, enter, and sit down on the throne of your own heart. Perfectionism, permissions to make mistakes, is so freeing. It's the root of creativity and change. Allow me, divine, to make as many mistakes as I need. Free me from the prison of perfectionism. So this last two lines, free me from the prison of perfectionism. Now, excellence is one thing. Perfectionism is another. Building excellence is one thing. Perfectionism is another. Okay. And who is it? Mark Cuban has such a great quote. Perfectionism is the enemy of, I think, productivity. And it's not to say to underachieve or don't dot your I's and cross your T's, but having a really healthy level of balance that will promote excellence and not negative feelings and disempowerment, personal disempowerment as a result. So relationship, I call on the infinite power of love to take over this union in every way. May it now fully belong to the divine. Let it unfold in a perfect way for each of us. I needn't fear letting go of control. And even if you do fear, just ask for assistance with the fear right now. My needs are always abundantly met. So, and then the final card is positivity. If you can find even one thing to be grateful for, it will restore you to the light. Please, dear God, let me always feel gratitude for something, even a tiny thing, in even the hardest situation. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful reading. Your Father is encouraging you from the stars. Please put some fruit out for him. It takes a lot of energy to come forward, and he was hanging out before I even started this reading, but it takes a lot to hang out so long. So thank you, Mr. Woods. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you all for letting me read such personal things, and be blessed and have fun. Really delight in the world. I think it's okay for you to be single for a while. That keeps coming up. So it's okay for you to be single for a while, but do enjoy, do eventually get back out there, but set the intention for the type of partner that you really want and the way you want to feel. Like, you don't have to fit into this mold for others to relate to you. You don't only have to have friends in the golf world. I don't know who your friends are, but I don't know why I get that feeling stuck in a certain realm and a world. And there are other people out there, your personal tribe, Tiger Woods, people who are cerebral, people who understand you, people who are high achievers, people who have the same work ethic as you. And so you need to set the intention for that. All these things come looking for you when you actually set that intention. And you can do that as well through the yoga that I talked to you about. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go. So I'm sure this is so long, an hour and a half. All right, thank you. Be well and take care. Bye-bye.